Yeah, there's a problem. We can try it again.
Welcome to this video, Dace.
We're trying again. I don't know if it's still live streaming, but if it is, it's okay. Everything is okay. So I believe we're going live here. We're live on YouTube, live with the wonderful Elena. So we're going to be talking about cause and effect, law of attraction, law of vibration, and personal self-image. So welcome to this conversation we're having with Elena. So my name is Peter. I run the Bright Beings Academy. This is Elena. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Elena Polkova, CEO and founder of Mindset to Results.
Yes. And what do we want? We want mindset to get you to the results that you want. So I've been looking into the self-image mindset and also the law of attraction since I saw the film The Secret. I never thought, to me, it never really went deep enough into it. It was a nice introduction to this whole idea of what we are and what we are as human beings. And going deeper and deeper into this, I realized that we are an energetic being at the core of us. I know that's quite difficult for a lot of people to take on, but it's true. So we come in, and what I do in my practice of Ki Gong, we call it getting back to your true self. Jesus called it your perfection, perfecting yourself. So when we come out of this vibration that we are, we have all these stains, I would say, in our energy field that make us perceive what the world is, and what we put out into the world, it actually mirrors back to us. So it's clearing out all these stains. So the vibration, the law of vibration is always there, and it's there to guide us to what we want. And what we want really is deep down in our inside of us, which is what we actually desire deep down inside. The desire is not like I want a big car. I want that. That's just something that comes along if that's what your lifestyle wants to be. But what it is, it's actually tapping into the core of yourself. And the part of that is your mind, isn't it, Elena? Part of that is your mind actually focusing on what your mind wants. So how would you put it?
Yeah, exactly. Everything vibrates. Everything came from one source, and everything is energy, right? Like there is tiny molecules, atoms which we don't see, but they move in the very high speed, and everything vibrates. Everything makes sound, like mountains. Every item in our room makes sound of that vibration. We just not our ears not just made to hear all the sounds. Otherwise, I don't know how we would live, right? It would not be able even to concentrate. Yeah, so everything is energy, and the law of vibration is the primary law. The primary law, and it all comes from our mind. It all comes from our thoughts, because the energy which we receive, like we are spiritual beings in physical bodies, and we have all this energy which comes to us and through us, and this energy is neutral. It is just is, and by our thoughts we give this energy the meaning. And if we choose positive thoughts, it is positive energy. If we choose negative thoughts, worries, or fears, or doubts, this energy will be negative energy. And our thoughts also coherent with our heart, our brain and heart, and our heart produces that electromagnetic waves. You could notice that if you were in a situation that it was dangerous situation, and you were scared, you could automatically notice that your heart started beating, right? Or vice versa. Maybe you were excited, or maybe you were feeling love, right? Like in love, and also your heart were beating. So it is different reactions, like how our heart connected to our thoughts, and this is how this electromagnetic field gets created, and the energy which we send to universe, which we produce, we become the magnet to the like energy. We receive like energy which we send to universe, and this is how the law of attraction comes, right? Based
Yes.
on the law on vibration, this is how we become we attracting everything according to the thoughts and energy which we are in.
Yeah, we choose that. And what is amazing, through the Heart Math Institute, which their scientists have looked into this, and they say the frequency of the love and gratitude actually grows when we focus on love and gratitude. So just think about that. Those who are listening to this, just think about that for a second, because we get bombarded with information. It's like, bah, 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 bah. But just think about that for a second, because what does that mean to you? What does it mean to you? It means you can change your vibration with your mind, thinking about love or gratitude. And it makes, you can actually change the energetic structure of your body with your mind. So where does that end? Where does that actually start to end? It never ends. We live in infinite, there's an infinite amount of frequencies creating this reality that we're living in. It's a vibration. There's an infinite amount, which is why we say in our practice that you have infinite possibilities in front of you with the Ki Gong that we practice is infinite possibilities in front of you. So what happens is what Elena was talking about, which was really cool, is that we get stuck in this paradigm where we think, oh, if I do this, this is going to happen. Or if I think this is going to happen. Or if I do this, this is going to happen. Nothing could be further from the truth. But if you're stuck in that paradigm, it will. The universe will reflect back to you what you're putting out as an energetic being. And there's many different layers to your energetic field. And everything inside of you has a different energy. So, for instance, I was very, very skeptical with this, very skeptical. And I remember going to Korea with the Ki Gong team, the British Ki Gong team, and we won the international competition, which I thought was really cool. But I went to this meditation cave where we were actually starting to meditate on childhood past traumas, which I had many, many of as a younger boy and a young man. And it was like going through a time capsule for me, because I thought, okay, I've healed that, I've healed that, I've healed that. Oh, and I found one. And what it was, I was really angry about the behavior of two of my older brothers when my father died. And I put my hands on my heart and forgave them there and then. I used the power of forgiveness to forgive them there and then. And then I walked out of that cave, and my mentor, my teacher at the time, Hope, a beautiful little Korean woman who was just so wise beyond her years, she said, "Peter, what's happened to you? What's happened to you?" I said, "Well, I've just found this in this meditation, and I've forgiven them." And she said, "You've taken 10 years off of your face." So that I was really holding it, that anger in my face. But I think more importantly, when I was younger, I used to drink really heavily. And after doing that and finding that anger inside of me and forgiving that and releasing that anger outside of me, I couldn't drink again. I still do have the glass of champagne or a few beers at the weekend or whatever, but all the need and the necessity to drink heavily had all gone. So we don't realize how much is stuck on us until we start to do the work within ourselves. So I always say journey within and you'll succeed outwards. But we don't do that work. So we're literally using our force rather than our power to try and create the world around us. And how exhausting is that, Elena? How exhausting is it when you're trying to force everything out of the world? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it is like turning on the AM frequency, forcing the radio to give you programs which are transmitted at FM.
Yes.
It is like you are in one channel in your life, which consciously or unconsciously you choose. Yes, because even if you are not aware, it is you who choose to be unaware, right? Because it is you who don't do certain search to find the questions, to answers to questions, right? So consciously or unconsciously, you choose to be where you are. And if you just blaming others, people, country, politics, economy. Means that it is just excuses which you look for to stay in the same situation. And it means that you don't take your power back and you don't take things in control. And it is like listening AM. If we turn radio on AM, what we will listen? We will listen the programs which are at that exact frequency, right? So we cannot expect being in AM station that we will hear something at FM because it is different frequency, right? So if we are in one channel, it means that consciously or unconsciously, willingly or unwillingly, we just attract the same things which are transmitted in this frequency where we are. And the only way to change our results is to choose another frequency, choose another channel, right? So it is not about those other programs which are in different channel. They are there, right? So everything already exists for you. Everything, your best dreams, the best life, your best wishes, whatever already exists in universe for you, but it is in different channel and you have to grow. It will not come to you. You have to grow to get there and enjoy your results which you want. But it is a journey. That's why it is so important to waken up. And I think like nowadays it is so critical to become aware, to become conscious about your thoughts, about your patterns of behavior, because we are habits, we just creatures of habits. Our most behavior is habitual. And if we are not aware, if we are not conscious, we just continue to be at the same channel, and no wonder that we just will continue to get the same results.
No, I totally agree with you. And that was part of my journey, was getting the knowledge to become a professional musician. I wanted the knowledge, right? How did they do it? What were they talking about? So I got into like musical theory, got all that musical theory underneath my belt. I learned about the modes, the modal system of how you can transpose music as well and change keys quite simply in songs and the melodies and all that on the top. So I had all that knowledge, and then I was just waiting there for somebody to come and notice me. And I'm thinking, why hasn't anybody noticed me? Look at all this wonderful knowledge I've got. Look how well I can play and all this. And then all of a sudden I thought, well, I got to do something about this. I can't just sit here with all this beautiful knowledge and thinking, well, okay, something's going to come around the corner, which is what we feel. I think a lot of us have this in our paradigm, our thought processes, that someone's going to come along and notice us and then pull us up out of our positions. Nothing could be further from the truth. What you do is you put yourself out there and you start to use your imagination. This is what I say in my Ki Gong classes about healing yourself. Use your imagination like a child again, because it gets crushed when we're children. We don't use our imagination. We don't use our imagination for fun, because you think, oh, that's silly. Have a bit of fun with silliness. Monty Python and all these great comedians made a living out of it. They made careers out of being silly. I'm not saying be silly in inappropriate moments, but just use your imagination like a child again. Okay, I can grow my energy. I'm going to focus on my heart. I'm going to focus on forgiveness. I'm going to focus on gratitude, and I'm going to focus on love. And then feel that coming out of your heart. And when you get more sensitive to energy, you will feel that energy coming out of you. Then you start to change the field around you. And then when you meet other people, which happens to me a lot now because I'm out teaching Ki Gong a lot, people go, wow, you're full of energy. Where's that come from? It's because I'm practicing this every day. You have to get into the repetition of it and practice it every day. You get energy flowing from you, and then that starts to create the field around you. And then you can start to create the world around you from your experience, because you can say, well, yes, I met such and such, and I got them to do this. And then they went from here to here. And now that's happening for me as well, because I've started to teach this. It happens to me on a even a wider scale. So it's all coming down into what I would call fractal geometry. It all comes from the same thing. And we've learned this geometry in school, but there's a metaphysical geometry that we should be learning, that actually from the tiniest idea you can blossom the greatest thing that you could ever imagine. But we're not taught that at school. We're taught, oh, this is the building blocks and this is how we're going to do it and blah blah blah. We don't even know how human beings built the pyramids. And there's a big question, did human beings actually build the pyramids? Because we couldn't build them today as they stand. So who had that imagination in their mindset to build those pyramids, and how did they do that? And when you look at all these great mindset people, they say, I started with nothing. Now I'm a multimillionaire and I'm doing whatever I want to do. So it's about the thought to concept to actually getting into, and what I call tuning into the vibration. People say raise your vibration. I think that's a bit sloppy. I think, like you were saying, it's like tuning in, like a radio station. You're tuning into that vibration and it's all there. You don't have to sit there for hours or days or weeks or months on a mountain meditating, thinking, I mean, some of that is really cool. And I really think it's good for us to be able to change our vibrations by training the body to change our vibrations, which is why I'm a really big advocate of Ki Gong. But you don't have to do that, because you need to tune in to that vibration, what you want. And really that stems from who you are deep down inside. So that's why in the Shim song that we trained, we were told, what do I want? We were tapping the body. What do I want? What do I want? All around the lower abdomen, which is where your power, your passion, your creativity comes from. We call it the lower danjon. And we're tapping that and go, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? But for like half an hour. And that's a long time. But we did it. We did it. And then all of a sudden it comes to you. This is what I want. This is what I want. And for me, it was love. I wanted love. But I was out there like a typical highly sensitive human being, people pleasing to get that love into me. And that was exhausting me, because I was emotionally drained, emotionally exhausted. As soon as I stopped that people pleasing, put barriers up, strong barriers, I attract the people who actually do love me. And that all changed completely, because people go, oh, Peter, it's amazing what you're doing. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Whereas the other people go, who do you think you are doing this kind of thing? What do you think you're doing? I'm thinking, well, that's out of my paradigm. No, I don't want that anymore. I'll go with this. Thank you very much. And it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but when you do make that decision and stick with it and keep going over and over and over it, things will manifest for you that you actually want. But it's actually, I think, do you agree? I think the most important part of all of this is to whittle down what you actually want inside.
Yes, exactly. And as we spoke about these different channels, there are different vibration, right? And it is unlimited number of vibrations. So every your thought, every your idea, it creates its own vibration and it creates its own channel. So everything already is created, nothing is created and destroyed. Everything already there for you. So it is, as you said, that many multi-millionaires, very successful people, they started from nothing, but what they only had, they had that idea, they had the dream, and they had that burning desire, and they were brave enough to allow themselves to dream big, right? And this is how they saw themselves in their imagination first. They could accept themselves as they are that person, denying the facts. This is also what is important, because if we just think about the facts around us, what we have now, our bank account, what we achieved till now, and if we just allow these facts to dictate what we can do and what we cannot do, we will have the same. We will have the same results. It is like a loop, the same thoughts, the same feelings, the same action, the same results. And the only way how to break out of this loop is to think big and allow yourself to see the big picture and yourself in that picture, and start expecting and demanding that this is what is meant for you, and see what you can do every day. Every day having that big picture in your mind, but doing what you can do. And when you go to that way, like when you make the decision to be that person, this is how it comes to self-image. This is how you will create the new self-image, because you cannot achieve new results with self-image which you have about yourself now. Because what you see is true about yourself. This is what you get. So if you want to achieve new results, if you have really big dreams, the first thing is to create the new self-image script and start becoming that person now, not somewhere when you get that or when you get this. No, your only way to get there is to become that person now. So you start thinking, feeling, and acting as that person. And you don't need material things to make decisions, to think, to dream. Everything is happening in your mind. And you should have the faith that if it is given to you, if this vision is given to you, it means that you can do that. It is for you, and you should be brave and committed to do whatever it takes, and it will reveal, it will open the way when you do your first steps.
Yeah, so the big question there is what's most important, the will or the means? The will, i.e., what do you want to do, or the means? What's going to make you get there quicker, the will or the means? I think it's very obvious from what you were saying which one and what percentage you can choose, whatever percentage. 100% will, 100% will. You want to do this. And it's not about sitting there, oh, yeah, well, it'll come, it'll come. A couple of examples of that for me for doing this would be when I was a musician. And I wanted to be a musician all my life, really, from a very young boy. And I used to picture myself with a tennis racket, listening to David Bowie, Led Zeppelin, that kind of era. That's how old I am. And picturing myself on that big stage, thinking, I'm going to be there one day. I've got no idea I'm going to do it. I'm going to be there one day. I'm going to achieve that. I'm going to have the big lights on me, thousands of people in front of me. This was before I could even play an instrument, before I could play an instrument. And then as time progressed, I thought, okay, I need knowledge, as I was talking about earlier. So I got the knowledge to be a musician. Then I started to put myself out there. And I realized I had to change my personality a little bit because I used to be quite fiery. So I needed to temper that down a little bit. And so therefore I got on with people because I used to people please, but I stopped doing that. So I was just being with people, which was cool. But I also was, people would say to me, well, you're such a leader. And I'm not really a leader in that respect. I'm just leading myself. But they were uncomfortable with me being that big presence of leading myself, which is what we should all be. We should all be leaders of our own destiny. We're all movie stars. We're the star of our own movies. We're all of us. So, but if we don't have co-stars in our movie, we'll be running a monologue. So we need to have that respect. So I had that respect for everybody. But I realized I wanted to do this more than anything else. So I did. I ended up doing tours, playing big stadiums, releasing records and all that kind of stuff. And the same thing happened when I decided to be a Ki Gong instructor. I thought, oh God, how do you do this? This is really hard. And the reason I did is because I saw the amount of change it made to the people that I was teaching. I was teaching in an elderly community center, and I could see that they were a bit, what's he talking about? This is all a bit weird, this vibration, energy, what's he on about? And then after about 3 or 4 weeks, I realized they were getting into it. And they were coming, they were dressing up a little bit smarter. These are elderly people. And then 6 went to 10, 20, 30 people every week then packed. And it was tangibly different. And I thought, I want to do this now. And so when I made that intention to do it, then that's when I ended up going over to Korea with the British Ki Gong team to be in the competition, set up the Bright Beings Academy. And now I see, I don't know, how many was it? Last count, about 80 people a week in my local area. And now I've got members in the Bright Beings Academy, the virtual academy as well, that come train with me every week. And it's happening. It's happening. From that vision of going, how am I going to do all of this? It rolls out. And now I want to do it even quicker now with events and seminars and workshops to reach more people, to get more deeply into them, to get them to understand that they can do this too. It's not really a secret. It's a way that human beings should have been conditioned to be like in the first place. But we've been conditioned to think of ourselves as like these like little animals that just don't know any different, and our consciousness is subdued to think, oh well, this is how I make money, this is how I'm successful, this is how I can improve my life. And they're all ways which have gatekeepers on those ways that you do it that make it really difficult. Like I've spoken to fellow entrepreneurs, it's like walking through mud. Certain ways that you do this, you think, oh, I can't do this anymore. It's exhausting, which is why so many entrepreneurs burn out. But if you actually start to want to do it, really want to do it, coming from the heart, coming from a good place, wanting to help other people, i.e., serve other people rather than take from other people, you become valuable to people. So they thought that value they'll express back to you in a monetary term if that's what you want. And therefore, you have to be valuable. You can't just say, oh, well, I want to be a millionaire. You have to find the value to serve 1 million people before you become that millionaire, because that value inside of you is there. It's in all of us. But how are you going to find it first, and how are you going to express it in the world? I think that's important, isn't it? Because we were talking about the law of vibration, law of attraction. When that vibration's not right in you and you're trying to force it out, that's when it becomes exhausting, right?
Yes, exactly. Everything comes to knowing yourself, right? And to do things from within, to make the changes from within, because our physical reality, this physical world 3D which we live, it is just reflection of what is going inside. It is just a mirror. And we don't go to mirror, and if we see this spot in the mirror on our face, we don't start cleaning the mirror, right? And think, oh, everything is good now. So it is a spot on our face. So we should clean that spot first, and then the mirror will show us a different picture. This is exactly how it is. Everything works according to the law of the cause and effect, and we are the cause of everything that happens to us.
Yeah, it's taking responsibility for your position right now, isn't it?
Yes. That's why self-image is so important, to learn about yourself and understand how your self-image was formed and why you think about yourself as you think now, because you are much more than you think about and how you see yourself. You're much more. And also creating that new self-image from that place where you really want to be, where your dreams come from. And this is what we are here to discuss in this series of life events.
Yes, no, we're talking about this, and we go deeper into each of these subjects, I'm sure, much deeper. But it is important to be responsible for your actions. I must admit, I didn't used to be responsible for my actions. I would eat really bad food, get sick, and then blame whoever for getting sick, the universe, blah, blah, blah. Same with heavy drinking as well. You'd blame the universe. Oh, I should be strong enough. Other people can do that. And if something wasn't successful, I would blame something. Like, oh, the economics is bad in the country at the moment, or whatever. Never taking 100% responsibility for what I've done. And also taking responsibility for, if you're working on something, maybe there's two lines of thought I have with this. You can be just on the crest of a wave where something's going to be really successful for you. A lot of people back out just then. Woo, no, I can't do that. I've just worked so hard on this. It's going nowhere. But you're just about to tip into the crest of the hill when you start to make it a little bit easier for yourself. A lot of people stop then, but also a lot of people are doing things that they need to work really hard on their body to do. I would say a musician is like that, or if you wanted to be a professional musician or a professional weightlifter or a professional athlete, you have to really work on your body to actually achieve that. And that takes mindset and to think, I've got to do this. It's like a lot of people, youthful people I've heard interview on YouTube say, well, what do you want to do? So, well, I want to be famous. And they say, well, why do you want to be famous? The interviewer says, and they said, well, what do you want to be famous for? I said, well, I don't know. I just want to be famous. What do you want to be famous for? To me, it's a real pain in the backside, because I remember playing live on certain morning TV shows with the band that I was in. And it was a real pain by walking into a supermarket and someone say, "Oh, I saw you on TV yesterday," and then you get crowds of people around you, and it's just exhausting trying to get out of the situation. Fame is not what you want. Is you got to go deeper than that. Why do some people have a yearning to be famous or a yearning to be in front of people, which is fine. That's good. But you have to work out, why have you got that yearning to be in front of people? To me, it's about sharing knowledge, sharing love, sharing what possibilities are in front of you. I thought it was music for me, and music is a big part, still is a big part, and I will use music till the day I die to help me express what I want to express. But also, I've had to take up tools like Toastmasters International to learn how to speak in public, and to find other ways to help me stay fit, like Ki Gong I use, and keeping the mind refreshed all the time with all the information that I've got. So I go over and over and over the information that I've got, so that I can, if someone asks me a question, I'm very quick now to bring up information and share experiences to back up the knowledge that I share, so that people go, oh yeah, I get that now. And I'm getting better and better at that. I'm not by no means perfect in any respect, but I'm there with it. I'm every day I'm doing it. You get better, and it grows on you, right? It gets bigger and better inside of you the more you do this. So self-image, really, as you're saying, is about you realizing your potential. Yeah.
Yes, your potential, and you create yourself this time by yourself, not by somebody else. Because before we do this process, we just live according picture which was about us in somebody else's mind, because our self-image was not created by us. It was created by parents, by teachers, by people who were surrounding us when we were infants and very, very early days of our life. And this is what we were told about who we are. And if we don't question it, we just live according that narrative, right? That scenario, and play a role in somebody else's movie. And this is time when to create your own movie, create your own scenario, to be your own director and producer, and you can become your star in your own movie, and decide what is your movie about, what is your role, how you want this movie to go, and how you want it to, what you want to be the end of this movie, where you want to see yourself in this movie. So this is all up to you.
When you get to that realization and you meet other people who are on that realization, how do you feel? What do you think happens within those two people? So I would say they're more respectful of each other, more willing to help each other, more willing to listen and learn from each other. How would you feel? I probably covered it all. How do you feel when you meet other people who are realizing that they're the stars of their own movie, and you have to have empathy and compassion towards them as well? How do you feel that changes your perceptions of people when you meet them?
People who understand that they can be stars in their movie.
Yes.
This changed a lot for these people, and these people change. This is totally a transformation of that personality happens. It is new identity which is created, because they don't see themselves anymore as they were before. They start seeing themselves as they want to be. So their thought changes, their action changes, their feelings changes. They get excited. They become inspired. Right? So because they believe that it is possible. And once you believe that this is possible, this is how your energy changes, right? This is how you start doing new things, because you believe that you can do it, right? So you can start moving towards that direction. And this is how really a huge transformation happens, because self-image dictates everything in your life. The way you dress, the way you speak, the way you meet other people, everything is dictated by self-image. And when you understand that you can change it and you can become anybody you want, right? And we give you those techniques and take you through this process in our workshop, which we do. And then it will be totally different experience.
Yeah, the workshop, really looking forward to all of those, and the ones, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. They'll be amazing. But it is about your self-image, changing that, changing your perception. To me, it's about respect of other people as well, because you become so much more respectful, going, okay, I'm not going to infringe on what they're doing because they're brilliant as well. I'll be brilliant here, they'll be brilliant there. What can we do together? So you start to collaborate and see each other's strengths and weaknesses, and you try to build up your colleagues or the fellow human beings' strengths, and you point out weaknesses and say, this can be better, this can be better. And to me, it's all about growth. It's all about that growth, that beautiful energy inside of us is connected to the whole universe just through the protons that we're living inside our atoms. Now in the quantum level, we're realizing that in each proton is connected to each element of the universe. So that's enormous. We can't even get our minds going outwards to the size of our universe that we live in. We definitely can't go inwards, that we can realize how deep, small, tiny it goes inwards. And that's where the as above, so below comes from, the law of correspondence, where you're as big as the universe and as tiny as the smallest gluon or gluon or atom. That these tiny little things, and it's all connected to each other. And what I loved is that we're talking about vibration, frequency. If you imagine the waveform, like a waveform, and you have the line going through the middle of the waveform, you have the up and the down. So that can be looked upon as male, up, you're going out, female, nurturing. So you could look at it like that. And therefore, you're the waveform. So you have the possibility of having the male energy and the female energy inside of you. It's just your biological body, if you've been born a female or a male, is you're on the lower level or the higher level of it. It's not up or down. Anyway, female and male are very much the same, apart from a few biological things as far as I'm concerned. And it's like you've got this wave, which is we're the same. We're coming from the same place, which is another hermetic principle, was everything is the same. It's coming from this vibration. And when we realize that, you're going, okay, your sex or your gender or the way that you feel, your height, the way you look, nothing of that should be limiting you. Nothing of that is limiting you. It's only your perceptions of the paradigm that you're stuck in is stopping you. I saw a little guy who was born a thalidomide. He had he had tiny little hands on the ends of his torso and tiny little feet on the end of his torso. He was an inspirational speaker, for goodness sake. He goes and speaks around the world, inspirational speeches to get other people to, like you say, wake up. Look, I'm doing this, and look at me. There's no restrictions in his mind. There's no restrictions in what he can or cannot do. He's doing it. He's going out and doing it. And I feel once we get past this with the workshops that we're doing to get people to realize this, what a beautiful ripple effect that will have across the world, where more and more people actually tapping in to their true selves, what we call our true selves, coming out of this negative victim type mindset into what I would call master consciousness, where your conscious brain is more in charge and reprogramming your subconscious brain. That's 7 years that you had as a child and beyond, where you were conditioned to be that the way that we are. It was who was it? They said, "Give me the boy and I'll give you the man." It was the Jesuits. So, "Give me the boy, I'll give you the man." They realized that you could subconscious a human being into having a belief system for the rest of their lives. Mm-hmm. What they didn't tell you is that you can actually change that through repetition. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting more people in the flesh with these live workshops. I think that it's a wonderful thing to be around people where they're going through their transformation. You go, oh my goodness me, isn't that so beautiful? And to me, that's why I get out of bed every day, is to see people change and go, there you are. And I remember just the first time I felt that, and see somebody grow into themselves, tune their vibration into their higher vibration. And Elena, there's no better feeling, I don't think, than actually seeing other people change in front of you. I really think that's, to me, it really touches my heart.
Yeah, it is the best gift we can give, right? Because the transformation which happens through such workshops, it's such big that people don't recognize themselves. And when they continue practicing these techniques and reading, repeating, as you said, through repetition, we impress this image, new self-image in our subconscious mind. This is through repetition we become that person. And it will not even take long when you look back and you will not recognize yourself. You say, like, how I could live with that, like,
Yes.
without this knowledge. This, like, you're coming from the cave, you're coming to like beautiful world, and you just see so many things which you didn't see before because you were in that cage. And this is how self-image can, if it is not created but by ourselves, how it can keep us in that mental cave. And this is the time when we can go out and enjoy the life and get power back and understand that we are here, the highest form of creature, right, on this planet. And we are given so many talents and gifts. We are given so much power that we can achieve anything we just can dream about. And this is the way how to learn about this. And the first step is create your new self-image and create new results.
It's like when we sitting in the garden at the weekend, and you see the birds coming in, the squirrels coming in, because what you're saying about consciousness is important, because they are at their level of consciousness. They can tune in to a certain level of consciousness, and whatever they're doing, they're really happy doing it. Sometimes they're a little bit distressed because you might be chasing a squirrel off because he's munching on one of your favorite flowers or whatever. But they're at a level of consciousness where they'll be fighting so many little birds now on the bird seed. They'll be fighting over the seeds and going, whoa, there's plenty for everybody, stop the fight. But they're at a level of consciousness where it's really simple life for them, really easy for them to live. We have the capability of making our lives a little bit more complicated without getting too complicated. It can be very simple because it just comes from the imagination and the thought of what you want to achieve or what you want to be, where you want to go. So using the imagination to do that. And we have that ability above the animal kingdom because we can create in that way. They create, yes, they create, but they are very, very much conditioned to create in a certain way. And it's what they call natural instincts. We have those natural instincts as well, but we have the neocortex, which gives us that ability to create even more without even having to worry about it. We should be doing this naturally, but because of the way that society has created us, it was back in the day when they compartmentalized everything. So say, for instance, somebody wanted to build a car, they could build a car from scratch. But then when the big factories came along, someone was told to put the engine together, someone told to put the wheels on, build the chassis. So one person couldn't build that whole car. So what we want to do is get back that compartmentalization so you can build that whole car just for yourself if you wanted to. I've got no intention or passion to build a car myself, but the idea behind it is that you can do that whole thing, that whole process. But you've been conditioned to think, well, no, I'm a tire fitter. I can fit tires. I remember thinking like that in the home, for instance, like building the garden out the back. Oh, I can't do that. I'll get somebody else to do that. And I'm thinking, no, hang on a minute. Let's just think about how you do it, and then let's approach it with an open mind. And yeah, I got better at it. I built skills up to build things now in the garden. Not great at it still because it's not really my passion. It's not really what I want to do. But what I want, my goal was to have a beautiful garden, and I've built little things to make it a beautiful garden. So I've actually learnt new skills but it's not what I want to do. I don't want to be a landscaper for a living, but my passion was to build that without having to pay somebody else to come in for many different reasons. And it was really because I wanted to express myself with the garden, and my wife does too. Just express yourself with your creativity. I think that's really important to get over that conditioning of our compartmentalized mind to think, oh, we've got to be like this, because we haven't. We can change that altogether. So yes, definitely. I agree with you. We better wrap up in a minute, I suppose. Any last words you've got?
Yeah. It was really great conversation. Thank you. And we will meet again next Monday for our next series of these episodes.
Yes, and we got a workshop coming up in July, so please do email or comment if you're interested in that. It's down in Brighton, in England, UK. So do email or comment if you want to come along to that. So yeah, we'll be back next week, same time, live on YouTube. So we'll see you then. I'll give you all of you a big love from me and a virtual hug. And we'll see you very, very soon.
Yes, see you next Monday and in July an in-person event in Brighton. And
That's it.
read comments below this video. All
Yeah,
information will be down.
make sure you comment below the video and we'll get back to you.